I thank you very much, Magali Blanc, for joining us on Making the Cut.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, Magali and I met years ago. How long ago was it when you came to Vancouver?
I would say 8 years ago. I think I met you in 2018.
Wow.
June 18, I would
Oof.
say.
Yeah, and Magali taught for us at the Cut Design Academy, and she's an amazing instructor. But I've always said this to you, Magali, Vancouver doesn't see designers like you. So Brunette is lucky to have you. We're lucky to have you here in Vancouver. We miss you at the Cut. We do enjoy having you as a guest speaker.
Thank you.
I'm super excited to chat with you on this because, again, like your background is so interesting. I want to start a little bit about why you came to Vancouver, but also how you started design. You went to school. Why did you choose design? And Vivienne Westwood, obviously, you got to tell us a little bit about that. And Madge. I love Madge.
Yeah, well, yeah, sure. So let's start. So I came to Vancouver 8 years ago. I had been, at the time, I was just working a lot, and I've been working maybe for 10 years at the time already. So 8 years ago, I was working for different brands, and then it was like very, very much of, things traveling and then building brands and then success also. A lot of big brand or brand that became very big when I was working there. So a lot of work, so 10 years of that. And I honestly, I just came to Vancouver on a holiday. I wanted to get have a break, but like not in a bad way, like I needed a break. I was like, it was very positive, and I was thinking, that's the time now to just like step back a little bit and then all of that, and then what I want to do in the future and everything. And I have like a family here in Vancouver, so that's also the reason. So I came to visit my family and then have that little break. And then I really like Canada and North America. That I knew like I was working in the US, so I had clientele in the US like before, so I was traveling a lot. But Canada, I was not really aware, and I didn't know really well. I discovered it at that time, and I just like that I was able to think a little bit, and not to have that. It was quiet. It's quieter than Europe, So at the time, that is what I needed. So I was really happy to be here, and then to take a little bit like, and I was also confident enough at this time in my career to say no to some projects and be like, no, I will just think about it for a little bit.
It's nice to get there.
That's nice to get there, right? That was the first time I think in my career when I was confident enough to be like, no, I won't do this, I won't do that, I want to start some project or in Asia or in Europe or whatever. I will just like, take some time for myself. So that's what I did. So, and I decided to stay because I like it here a lot.
I guess for me, it's interesting that you say like it's a little bit more quiet here. Not quiet, but not the same hustle and bustle. Do you think it's because we don't have the same type of brands that Europe does? Like it's not as high fashion as, and there's a creative, professional and cutting edge demand for in each company in that category versus sort of the more athleisure, which is the Western America is known for.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, there is like, there is less like if you speak about ready to wear industry, so not necessarily at leisure, but all the rest, like there's less traffic here. Yeah, there's less brand, there's less school, there's less a bit of everything that, in Europe, if you go to Paris or to London or to whatever city in Europe, you have a lot of museum, you have fashion, you have like a lot of brands, a lot of shops, a lot of school, so it's a little bit like overflow of there's a lot of things happening, and then here I don't mean that there's nothing happening here, but there's less. So it gives that. Well, it also creates a lot of opportunities, I would say, because it's not oversaturated. So that's also what I really enjoy. And what I really like here when I came here 8 years ago, I didn't really have at the time put all the words to it and then be like, this is because of that reason that I like it here. But like my instinct, let's say, like told me, oh yeah, there is like, things to do. There's like people to meet, and there's like so many opportunities, I would say. And then, it's good. It's a good place, I think, to to be like, especially for a designer, I would say, because there is a lot of things to do, and that's amazing. That's actually really fueling. Like, so many people would not see it like this and be, oh, it's boring or there's not much. But on the other hand, there is a lot of things to do. So,
and I went to school in Toronto, and my mentor was from Paris. He was a designer from Paris, Paul de Comemont. He used to come in 6 months of the year and design at the studio I worked at. And it's true, the work ethic, when he was here, I mean, we would be there till midnight. We'd be there till 3 a.m. because we were making gowns for, the East Coast is no different than America and the East Coast. It's older. So there's a lot of older, wealthy sort of like legacy families. We used to make for Mrs. Eaton's, and, and it didn't matter. You stayed until it was done.
Yeah. Very much. Yeah, that's very much like this in Europe. Like, I've been, working a lot. But it was like, I mean, for me, at least, I never really suffer really from it. I mean, I always really enjoyed what I was doing, and I was like very passionate. So it didn't really matter to me, like, to work long hours. But like, it's definitely, more, I think, what here on that side, it's very different. I don't want to say it's not good, or I don't want to say that, because that's not what I really think. Like, it's just very different, and then culture is different, and then the way people think or approach fashion is also quite different. At this time in my career, because I work in Europe, I work in Asia. At this time that I work here, it's very interesting. I mean, I actually really enjoy it.
What are the differences that you see design-wise? Like when you worked in Europe, I really love what's coming out of Asia a lot.
So Asia, it's fantastic. Like, they have so much, like, they have a lot of designers and a lot of ideas and resources, and but like the difference is, like, I mean, there's not, well, let's be clear, the goal is the same, that you're in Asia or in Europe or in Canada. Like, the goal is the same. The goal is to make a brand sell clothes, and then, I mean, directly, or don't want to say indirectly, but directly, like, to make money, and then you have to, right? It has to work in that sense, economically. But the approach, if I can say that here, it's a little bit more, how can I say that? I always say, like, literal, or very direct in a way. Well, in Europe, when you will build a collection, you will make stories, you will be very, I would say, careful about the story you're telling, and your research would be there's always a twist. There's always it's never really a direct translation of the thing that you see, and then you don't take your research from fashion necessarily. Actually, no, you always take it from architecture, or from film, or maybe movie stars, or singers and everything. So, and then you translate all those things which are not fashion related to fashion, I would say. And then, well, here it's way more, I had a hard time to learn that, actually, here.
Yeah, I feel that North America is, like in Europe, you translate. So you look at architecture, movies, art, paintings, etc., and you translate what that means to you into fashion.
That's it.
Whereas I feel that in North America, it's your interpretation. So you look at fashion and you interpret that style into how you interpret it in your brand.
Yes, that's it. It's more like, it's a more direct approach, in a way that you will take fashion or things that already exist in the fashion sphere, and then you would translate it into your brand, or maybe you will market it into your brand, if I can say.
When you were working with one of our students, and I saw this with Isa.
Oh, yeah.
So he got into the CSM Women's Bachelor. He's doing really well.
Yeah, I know. I have some news then there from him, and then, I think he's doing very well. He looks like it.
Yeah, he's doing really well. But I feel exactly what you just said. What he was doing was interpreting art.
Yeah.
And what we were breaking our head trying to have him do was translate into his language, that process of what he's seeing from something.
Exactly. That's exactly that. And then this is what I find. I find that the very big culture shock, I can say, sometimes where I'm like, oh, but like, this is already there. This is like, it's a very different way. I'm not saying it's bad or good. I mean, it's very different from what we are doing in Europe. And then also, like, for example, like if it comes to marketing here, it's also a very direct approach of something that is very much like, for example, like one of the question you sent me, like, or one of the lists you sent me, you were asking me, what did I remember from interning at Vivienne Westwood? And then what I remember from that part was really like the ability of, and her ability of taking something like some design that she would do and to twist it and then to market it in a almost the opposite way of what it has. So that would create something very bizarre or very interesting. At the time, I thought that was like just normal, but like, I mean, then with time, I understand that she actually taught me that, or her team like taught me that if I design a collection, a French collection, like south of France with a lot of flower and lace and then pretty clothes, like very French, I would shoot that collection into New York and in the parking lot. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, the contrast, the juxtaposition of it.
The contrast made it more than anything else. And then if I would like, so this is what I learned there. And then it's really much like that in Europe. You would do like a very easy collection to understand, like this floral French collection, or it could be like some, it's applicable to everything really. And then you will portray it in something almost opposite that clash a little bit. And then this mixture will define your handwriting as a brand, and then you will attract interest, or people will be interested in your product. Well, here it's less twisted. It's more direct. I mean, why not?
I see what you're saying. And then I love Madge. When you were at Madge, they were, I would expect from the growth that they've had, they were very much story, very much brand. If I look at it as a business, they took it more, because Vivienne Westwood was very creative. The design and the artist was first, you know?
Yeah,
whereas she was first. Whereas I feel that with Madge, which I love Madge, I think I've said this several times now, but you see more of a brand building versus the artist first.
Yes, that's for sure. But that's also personality, I guess, about people. Like, if you speak about Madge, I mean, the founder, she's very product oriented, and it's a product more before everything. And then I don't think she's not social media at all. It's not a thing. She's not like, she's actually against it. Like, yeah, when I was working there, I mean, it is no way in any world that I would have entered a design meeting with some Pinterest picture. Like, I would not. No, that's not. No, that's really French.
But I also feel that's really design. Like, you know, for us at The Cut, and it's my philosophy, because everybody says, oh, do you teach Adobe? Do you teach how to illustrate on Adobe? And we do 2 weeks of it. But my explanation to them is, if you don't know how to do this by hand, you're only going to be so-so on Adobe anyway.
That's it. You still need to know how to design, even with Illustrator.
Yeah. So when you're sort of pulling stuff on Pinterest, it's all great, but you're missing the foundation of where the inspiration of why you're pulling that stuff is coming, which to me is always like the mood board is, for any artist, is the foundation of everything.
Yeah, the mood board, the inspiration, that's the foundation, that's for sure. And then it's like, it's very interesting to see, like, it's Instagram and Pinterest being so present in the work of everybody. Like, it's a young designer, but also older designer. I mean, it's like very much a thing. Like, but again, here in that part of the world, because it's a bit less true in Europe, they would take inspiration from other things. like, because it's more like a cultural, we think we can't do fashion with fashion.
Sure.
You know, like, yeah, you
But
have
I also
to.
think that in Europe, they're not as obsessed with selling 10,000 units of the dress.
Yeah,
They're
yeah, they're more, yeah.
more into, again, the design, like the quantity isn't the goal. Whereas in
No,
North America, the quantity, I think, is really in the forefront.
there's a lot of that. There's a lot of the quantity. Yeah, that's true. And that's also something I have hard time sometimes because, yeah, the quality of a product would be in Europe very important, the quality. And then if it looks cool or good,
Right.
or that
Right.
would be the thing. Or, but yeah, it's less. But I mean, at the end of the day, we still need to sell even in Europe. So, but I would say, yeah, the approach is different. It's more
The
like
approach
about the
is different.
quality of the product. And then in Europe, you would think, oh, if I invest into a very good product, that will somehow bring me some popularity and then I will
Mhm.
sell
Right.
because
Right.
I will attract people. When here, you would think that doesn't really matter to attract, we need to sell. And then if we attract people, then it's good. But we first need to sell. It's a different approach. Yeah, I mean, both are very interesting.
So you came from Europe and Asia. So then you go into Brunette, and I think what she's done is fantastic. And when we talk about it in classes, I always explain to the students because I think she's like the exact perfect example of
Mm-hmm.
a small business and what do I need to do to be successful? Because most people don't realize Miriam was a sales rep. And
Mm-hmm.
so, yes, she started with everything from the trunk of her car, but she was an excellent salesperson and she had the relationships with the retailers.
Of course, yeah.
Because I always say to students, your biggest problem isn't going to be what you design. Your biggest problem is if you don't know how to sell. Because if you know how to sell, you can sell anything. If you believe in it and love it, you'll do better and sell more. But if you can't sell it, there's no point in making it.
Yeah. Yes.
So you step into Brunette the Label, which is a well-known Vancouver brand that's
Mm-hmm.
now showed at Paris Fashion Week,
Mm-hmm.
and she's done a collaboration with Holt Renfrew. So she's a national brand. She's done phenomenal. So tell us what it was like sort of going into, and she's very much, the face of the label. So you step in as head designer.
Yes, she is, yeah, the face of the brand, of course. What it was, yeah, so I'm working there for 2 years and a half now. So it's quite enough time for me to get some, feedbacks and then some about that journey. Honestly, stepping as a head of design in this brand was really natural. And from the start, from day one, it was really a conversation with Miriam flows.
Smooth.
Yeah, it's very well. Difficult conversation, but good conversation, positive conversation too. It was like a very easy relationship from the start.
She was known for her sweatshirts and the graphics on the sweatshirts, her
Mhm.
babe community. So
I
you go
think,
in, I would think as a designer, I would think Miriam was planning on elaborating more in
of
her
course,
SKUs and bringing that on. So when you
yes.
come in as a designer and she's such a face of that brand,
Mhm.
how did you approach that point of view as a designer?
That's
My favorite designer is Lagerfeld, and the man did 3 collections for 4 different brands. The guy was phenomenal.
it was.
So as a designer to step into another brand's shoes, I love the shift in the perspective. You see what I'm saying?
Of course, yeah, I see. Well, it starts with the vision, right? Like my vision, and of course Miriam's vision. As I say, but I was very aligned from the start, like very natural and it was very clear. It's like clarity is key in that thing. Like it needs to be clear, and then I think her approach to her business, her fashion was really clear to me. So that's number one. So that was easy on that sense, and then to step in this role. Well, she wanted to build up the brand and then to explore more categories of product and then to maybe sell to different location and maybe open shops, and then everything so I just came at that time when my experience here is like also a lot. Like, I mean,
You were at Smash and Test before.
I was working with female like founders like all my life. Like I don't know anything else. So it was quite simple for me to understand like what she wanted, and then we just start to build up the categories, and of course it's based on you start to sell, and then you see how people react, and then you adjust along the way. It's not easy, for sure. It's not like you have to adjust, and then sometimes it's too much of these things and not enough of the other things, so you have to adjust and combine. And then there's certainly some discussion also about how and how to do, and then step by step, I would say, like also like very like as a designer, like don't want you to do too much too soon. I mean, that's something I see a lot. Like people are very much in a hurry, which is not good.
Because you take a lot of interns from us, so thank you for that. I think Audrey would be a great fit, by the way, for you guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I met with her. Yeah, she was great.
She's super. But what do you see in the younger students? Because it's interesting what I'm seeing at the school. And, you know, when I went to fashion school 40 years ago, I probably slept 5 nights a week. I did for sure 2 all-nighters a week.
Yes, me too.
Yeah. And because you were pushing yourself, you know, I do see the students push themselves. Don't misunderstand. I do see them push themselves, and they do a lot of fantastic things.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if it's a North American spin or just the social media, but the creativity, it's very, you know, it's maybe 1 in 10 where you're seeing point of view from a young student.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh yes, I'm seeing what I mean. Yeah, it's one on 10, and maybe even. Yeah, it's that's a good question, because you know, like I was teaching really like only here. Now I'd never teach like in Europe. I think it's more like it's a bit both. Like there's a little bit of a generation thing, like as you say, social media, and then people don't push themselves. Like I've seen people trying hard but very messy, so it's not working. Like people have tendency to maybe try really hard just to try hard because they don't want to fail, but it's not enough. You need to be curious about the fashion world, and then the art in general, and then you need to be coming back to the same thing. There's not a lot of brand, there's not a lot of museum, there's not a lot of.
It's very corporate. The designers are very corporate. Like I think that when people read nowadays that like, you know, Tom Ford is a movie director, he's a designer, he's an artist, he's a you know, Lagerfeld was a painter, was a this, was a that. The other designer, Ferré, was an architect. He had studied architecture and became a famous designer, you know. So I think that, we get a lot of engineers in our pattern making program.
Oh yeah, that's
so they just want to do pattern making and then second level pattern making, which makes a lot of sense to me. They went into engineering, and pattern making is engineering.
It's the same.
So somewhere I feel that connection, depending upon which continent you're on, doesn't happen. Like people sort of, even the engineers coming to us, they're like, you know, I've always been interested in fashion, but I took engineering. And I'm like, right, but pattern making is engineering. It's just in apparel. But I remember reading when I was 18 how Ferré had studied architecture. It brought, had I not read that, it wouldn't have brought in my mind like that.
Like that, of course, but because you have access to it, I think it's a bit of a North American thing. I mean, I think like for example, when we interview here to get a designer or to get an assistant designer, it's very hard to find somebody that has, can I say that, like knowledge, you know, and clarity about point of view. And then because I mean, when you're a designer, you essentially pay to give your point of view, right? And then so it's very important to have, and then to not be scared, and then to be very confident.
And to not be scared. I think that's actually the big one. I think it's to not be scared.
Not be scared
of giving your point of view, because what we're saying is that your point of view is your opinion, your artistic opinion in fashion.
Yeah.
of whatever that topic is, the topic being the brand. So having the confidence to iterate it.
Yeah,
You
the
know,
confidence to exactly. And then every time the people I work with are already, they would give me their point of view, and then sometimes I don't really understand or I don't really see it, and I'm just like, okay, try to convince me. Yeah, because I mean, maybe I changed my mind, you know, if you come, and it's all about giving your point of view, be confident to give it, and then and have all the not argument or the point to back yourself up to sell this idea. It's selling an idea, so it's not even a product, right? It's just, it doesn't exist, can't touch it, but you're selling your idea and why it's gonna to work. And then I always tell people like, okay, pitch me the story. And I mean, I want to be convinced, you know.
so pitch me.
Pitch me.
How did Anna Wintour get pitched to have Bezos sponsor the entire Met Gala? Now, so I just want to say, I personally don't have a problem with it. I have my point of view on that whole thing. I have a problem with it in the sense that that's not the brand.
Yeah, that's very not the brand, but yeah, I mean, she had been convinced. There's probably many reasons. What's the Met Gala really like? I mean, who really cares? I mean, no, it's not that I don't care. Sometimes I'm thinking, I mean, is it really relevant? Like in a way, like do people watch it and think, oh, that's so cool, or maybe it is. I don't know.
I think the idea of it was to create the Met Gala so that it funds, the monies that come from it fund the Costume Institute, which is amazing.
That's amazing. That's very good. But
that's amazing. And then the idea is that one night, the artists, whoever is going, collaborate with the designer for this, you know, extravagant, whatever, you know, come up with together in their imagination, which you'd never wear anywhere else. And it's fantastic. So, you know, it's like fashion's Halloween, but in a very like,
that's what I was a bit just about to say. It's like a bit
top standard way.
Yeah, sometimes
some of the stuff is crazy, but yeah.
I mean, yeah. Anyway, so she got pitched the idea of having him funding the full thing. I'm not sure it's really like about fashion anymore. I think it's a window for the fashion world more than the fashion world, you know, itself, because when you're really working into fashion, like, that's what I say at the beginning, who cares? I mean, I would look at the show, at the catwalk, at what's happening into the film industry or the music industry more than the Met Gala for inspiration.
Inspiration, yeah.
But it's the window for the fashion world, let's say. And then people are going, some people are not going, and that makes a story. Who's going, who's not going. It's more like about, people talk about it if you want. So
yeah, see, my whole thing is, I don't understand it. I mean, she's a ridiculously smart woman.
She is.
And she governs fashion. So globally, her opinion on something changes an entire color palette for, you know, seasons and seasons. So to me, on a business level, I'm just, to have been a fly on the wall, because I don't see her sort of saying, great, 5 million Bezos, super. Like, I feel she was cornered. You know what I mean? I mean, that's my opinion. I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think these billionaires got to where they are because they live in the country that allows that. I have an issue when billionaires don't pay their taxes, but don't get mad at them for creating something that made them billions, you know? Get mad at the government for making loopholes where they don't have to pay. Anyway, so that, and I just don't see how the PR machine around the Met, the PR machine around Bezos way. So, you know what I'm saying? Let's frame it, because you could look better.
I think she was probably, maybe, as you say, corner and then forced to it, whatever. So I think she has the ability to turn it into something positive. Statement, and then it's like, money coming from the tech industry and everything. So it's also a sort of trend. I mean, she will make it into something, but it's certainly beneficial him more than her, because he's founding something artistic, and then it's set his foot into this
into that
industry
circle.
And it's circle of people
that I was kind of wondering too, though. Well, every industry is so concerned about AI. I want to talk to you about AI and where
Mm-hmm.
you see it. I'll give you my opinion about where I see it,
Mm-hmm.
how I see it affecting design. It was intriguing to me that the Amazon workers were all like, while you're doing this, we're only making this. Well, you work in a warehouse. Like, that's the salary for that.
For the job.
You can't get upset about that. Like, if you want to make more, then do whatever, go into that, you know? Yes, not everybody has the ability to do it, but I also don't agree with that. There's
Oh, of course, there's a work for everybody, but it's like it's the ability of getting out of the box, and then this circle of narrative, like, oh, I can't do it, or there.
right.
Yeah, it's about taking a risk. Also, there's a lot of risk taking, and it's a lot of pressure, certainly. But like, it's yeah, we have the ability, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking, I wonder if it's getting the industry used to the idea of tech in fashion. We already have 3D, we already have digital. I get that, but
Mm-hmm.
AI is very different.
AI is different. Like I know it's very popular here, like in North America. Like AI would be like you have a lot of software that can really help you to design. Like you will take the fabrics and then you will implement your design, and then the software will tell you if it's working, what you have to do, and then I joke often with my colleagues, and I was saying I am the cloth 3D. I am because I know, because it's my generation, I guess, and because I had been working with pattern atelier and then pattern maker, and I have been sourcing fabrics, and then I have to combine, and then I know what you do. Yeah, a garment from because of if they stretch or no stretch, and what fabric works with what. I went to a school where I was a very traditional school in Paris where I was designing from scratch. But here, like there's a bit less knowledge about fabric and about everything. So it's very less obvious to them what's going to work or not. So they will need that. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually think that it's going to make design even more special, even more, it's going to set apart designers more.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that it's sort of like what fast fashion did to designers. So
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I feel that there's going to be a novelty to it at the beginning where it's like, oh, look at my shoes, AI made it, or, oh, yeah, AI sewed this sweatshirt, whatever. But I feel that there's that novelty.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be certain things that you might purchase that AI made. I don't think it's going to become more expensive.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so too. I was saying that I went to China recently for work, and then we were having that conversation actually with one of our suppliers. It was like about AI and everything. I mean, it can help. I mean, I'm using it a little bit when it comes to pitching a story or text, because they would just like give you AI would give you very quickly some sort of phrasing that works, but like that's about it. And then I will often rework it because I find it very plain and a bit boring. So I have to rework it to make it a little bit more warm.
Yes.
It's a bit cold, but it's correct. But it's just like very like neutral. And I don't want to be, as a designer, you don't want to be neutral necessarily. Like you want to have people that have a feeling about what you say or what you do. And it's all about generating a feeling to people, right? And then when they have feelings, that a bad feeling or good feeling, whatever, they will eventually purchase your product, right? But like AI will blend that a little bit. It's perfect, right? So
the feeling, it's got to make you feel something.
So in that sense, yeah, and I think AI would have hard time to catch up with that emotion. And just to link with what you say, I think, yeah, then you would have categorized, like you will have. So if anything, it would maybe even boost like designer work, honestly.
I think it'll be
it might be triggering at the beginning, but
a couple of the instructors at the school are like, aren't you scared of AI? I'm like, no, we're all in the same boat. Like, whatever.
Yeah, not really.
There's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing to really be scared about. We're the only school that teaches 14-week full-time certificate for Browseware and Clo 3D.
Mm-hmm.
So you're fully proficient in Browseware and Clo 3D.
Mm-hmm.
But Browseware and Clo 3D have not taken away jobs. In fact, when people have that certificate or the digital Gerber pattern making certificate, they increase their salary by 20 to 30%.
Yeah,
and they get hired this much faster.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a good knowledge to have, and it's a skill that you will add, if anything. But it's not gonna to take away. I don't think so. I don't think so too. Like, and also here, I mean, to this point, like at this moment, like if you take about, it's really feeding with what already exists. So in terms of creativity, it's not there yet. It's how can I explain that? Like if I want to do a tech pack, for example, or if I want to do a pattern about something, and I would take a jacket from designer and I would put it into AI and I would ask, can you give me the measurement of this? Because I try it. I was curious. I tried it. So I take a picture, put it in here. Can you give me the measurement of the jacket? Because eventually it's afraid, like people would do that and then you don't need designer anymore. But no. But like it was quite accurate. Like when I put the picture for the measurement I would have give, was quite accurate. But like first it's a picture that already exists. So you can't put something that doesn't exist. So it has to be, it's nourish itself on something that is already there. So, and it's not what I'm doing anyway.
I look at it as how one looks at war. I believe that in design, and I say this in one of the podcasts, art is the sort of last frontier. It's the last frontier. It's wild. And you're not gonna put an artist in a box. You know what I'm saying?
No.
So, and design comes from that. So for me, I look at it as AI will numb. If you put it into design, it will numb that emotion that you need from a consumer to purchase your product.
I think so.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No different than war. So all wars can be fought now by drones, which means if you're not being affected, you don't care because you're not. Humans aren't dying, right? So now they have to throw soldiers in so that people around the world
cares about it.
You see what I'm saying?
People suffering.
Because drones are robots. AI, it's the same sort of thing.
It's the same sort of things. Yeah, I think it's like if there's no desire, no emotion.
If there's no emotion, no one's going to say this is enough. Stop killing, or no. Yeah. This is. It's the same. I mean, I get that it's a philosophy I'm speaking about.
Of course, yeah. Of course, yeah, it's not like, but yeah, it's exactly that. With AI, it's really good for organization, and if you know how to use it, then you will maybe be more efficient in your work. Maybe you will things are gonna to be made quicker, but yeah, the emotion and what I am, for example. I'm thinking about how to build a collection, what kind of, and why am I doing this, and why am and all the whys and all the questions that we have. This is like, which is a 70% of my work. It's to
process.
It's the process, and then it's like the ability of solving a problem before the problem happens.
Right.
The ability, the vision, right? The vision of, that it's going to go wrong. And then because you process and then you take the time to think about, you kind of stop it before that happens. And then you become also efficient this way. And then this, that's really what's about. And then you will make better collection.
I could be absolutely wrong, but I think design is one of the safest categories because I want to ask some rapid fire questions. One piece in your closet that you've worn 10 plus years that you don't want to give away.
A cashmere sweater that I made myself for myself.
Nice. A designer that you don't think isn't getting enough credit these days.
That's hard. A designer that doesn't have, honestly, they all have enough credit. Like, if anything, they have too much credit sometimes.
But it can be an up and coming brand.
An upcoming brand, like somebody that I really like.
That's a good way to put it.
In what context somebody would not be able to get enough visibility? It's the easiest thing, almost. Like with Instagram, if you think about it, social media, like in what way?
Like for me, I think Smythe, the brand that started with jackets, I think they should be, I think they don't get enough credit because that jacket fits like a glove. But
Yeah,
you know
they
your
have like,
size, it's a glove.
yeah, there's probably like, I have designer that I like and that I find very, very interesting in terms of, I have definitely Jonathan Anderson. I really like this approach of this anti-fashion approach that he has to fashion. I love it. For example, I don't know.
Maybe not enough though.
Maybe not enough because he is like all his shows and everything are very anti. Most of the dress he's like always putting the line. They are always off a little bit, and I find that in very amazing. Like he's very brave to
Nice.
go.
Okay.
Yeah, after that.
If you were to start a brand now from scratch, 2026, what would you do differently than?
So I think maybe take the time to think a bit more. I mean, as a designer, we want to be efficient. We're always scared. I mean, I don't know. I think it's a designer thing. You stress, you think there's always a trend. There's always something to catch. You always think your collection are not strong enough and then you didn't have enough, like, you know, and I would say that's a mistake. I would say just like, you will never be enough anyway, because it's like so many things. And then a trend doesn't mean, I mean, what is trendy for me can be not trendy for somebody else. It's very subjective. So just take the time to make it right and not too much product.
Not too much product. That's good.
Not too much product. It's not much. Yeah. It's not necessary.
And what do you think is the most overhyped trend happening right now? What are you tired of seeing?
The overhyped trend, I'm not like really looking after trend that much. So I'm not really aware, and I really don't want to be aware because I can't, it's very conflictual in my brain. Like all the trend are not good for, I mean, I would say for a designer, don't look at the trend too much. I mean, you knows it. Trust your gut, your feeling. You knows what's going to work. You don't need to know what's happening too much.
But what are you seeing that you're tired of seeing?
If anything, there's like an overflow of information. I'm tired of the overflow of information, of people being aware of everything, and then I don't really like that. Like this accessibility that we have to everything. I think it's like I don't want to see people's life on Instagram. I want to go to them and then ask them what they've done. You know, I want to talk to them. I don't want to.
It's so funny that you say that because I had my 40th high school reunion.
Mm-hmm.
And for several of the people, you're right. I've just, you've seen their life on Facebook,
so you don't ask.
Instagram. So as much as you would sort of ask, it's kind of like, oh yeah, I saw that. Oh yeah, you can speed up.
Yes, yes, that's becoming a thing. Oh, I saw that. I don't want to hear that anymore. I want to be like, what were you doing? And then have a conversation and then be very interested. I don't want you to have seen that online before. So yeah, that's the trend. I don't like that.
I like that answer. Okay. Magali, thank you so much. Tell us where we can find you at Brunette the Label. What's your guys' handle?
We are selling online.
Yeah, at
and
Brunette
then
the Label?
At BrunetteTheLabel.com. That would be the website. Yeah, and then online, and then into many shops across Canada.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Magali.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you,
Seeing
Liza.
you.
Yeah.
Let you know